Hello, gonna be analyzing some games from Wahoo, Big Run. Sorry in advance for some of the mic issues. They will be fixed for future videos. I'm gonna do this in a similar style to the VOD reviews that I've done of other people. The first one did have a VOD review of me. If you'd like to watch those, I have a playlist of them on my channel. I'll link it below. I also did an analysis of my 309. Check that out. But this is a little bit more casual gameplay, I guess. So, since this is a random rotation, I also did this for the VOD reviews that were on a random rotation. I'm going to be talking about the weapons. I mean, this wave, though, is pretty simple. You just have really, really good weapons. I don't know, not much to say. We got very lucky. Sometimes the weapons are so strong that here I killed the lid without meaning to kill it. So he knows the snatchers are on left here. Far left. So they're not very useful. There are 4 angles for snatchers on normal tide. Similar to how it is on junction. So it turns out that death did not matter too much because we've gotten pretty lucky with spawns. There haven't been statics that we need to go out for. So we were just sitting back, waiting for things to come in anyway. Pretty important to keep things from, or I should say, this choke point is pretty important to keep in mind. Try to let things get past this choke point instead of like stalling everything here, because when you get those eggs, you're going to have to stall things even further behind, and then it's going to snowball. And the snatchers don't help you. Or our snatchers in this wave don't help. So if you did notice, it's kind of hard to see in my POV. I believe that face with the G Charger kills a stinger on left. So there's 3 eggs over there. But we do have to back up to get the steelhead in, which helps us clear everything. And it also gets the drizzler. Maybe the drizzler is jumping already. So maybe if we were a bit more conscientious of those eggs on left and gone for them first, could have gotten a little bit of a higher score, but 87 out of 90 possible eggs. Pretty good score. Alright, so this comp, it is a lot weaker than the previous one. We have Squeezer's pretty good overall weapon. This is going to be your thick weapon I have. Kent and Slosher are pretty good at dealing with groups. So, okay, we can deal with groups. We have okay DPS. Weapons aren't very fast, but it's okay. It's not a bad comp. No big weaknesses. So usually when we have time at the beginning of the wave, I like to kill one of the floppers. And one of the reasons is for that is because only 3 bosses can spawn of a specific boss at a time. And a lot of the time that fact is used to keep Flyfish alive so you can spawn a different. But it also is important to note for the bosses you want, like Flopper. And you don't want there to be 3 floppers on the field at the beginning when you're, when waiting for them to come in. So maybe you want to kill one of them early so that another one can. So I focus on sticks here as the stick weapon. Kraken was used, we have a lot of stuff to clear out, and that mostly successfully did its job. We probably could have done a little bit of a higher score with a little bit better luring at the very end. Maybe I could have whaled a little bit sooner. So we do get triple normal tide here. This comp, we have G-Roller, very strong weapon. Kills all the lessers you want. Flash Blaster is the stick weapon. G-Blaster does it too. Yeah, pretty good comp. The only weakness is steelheads. So none of these weapons are particularly good at killing steelheads. G-Roller is very low, even though it can do it. The other weapons are somewhat unreliable. Nice to be able to get that egg while it's falling without having to drop. So we do get mid big shot. It's something that you don't want to commit to too hard. Like here, we don't worry about that one big shot, even though we do have a G-Roller that can kill it. Our snatchers do optimize. They're good snatchers. At this point, we do just lure everything here because everything has stalled there. I take the eel away.
Can you grab the stick behind? I got it anyway,
I hesitate a little bit here. Not the greatest. And I forget about that snatcher on the right, unfortunately. I also forgot to use my whale. That's something I really do need to work on. Getting to use my special on wave 3. Oh, this is our highest day score. I think it was actually our highest score overall too. 245, I believe. Pretty cool. Would have been nice if we got 90, but it was pretty tough. Moving on. Alright, so this is Rush. And we get a very good comp for Rush. So one of the things about Rush is you really need to kill the chum as soon as possible, because the more chum you kill, or the more chum you leave alive, the less goldies, or the more chum you kill, the more goldies. Either way you can think about it. And we get two of the best weapons for Rush that you can get. Flash Blaster and G-Blaster are very, very good at killing chum very quickly. And it's good to have two, because you have three, get to a better freeze frame. You have this spawn over here, which one person can watch. And then these two spawns over there, which one person can watch. And if one of us is targeted, then the other person can, you know, do the filtering. This is like one of the best comps you could get. So here, because I know the G-Blaster is handling right, I'm preparing to go left. And that's going to be my job throughout this whole wave, is being prepared to go left. See me look over there whenever spawns change. I had this hazard, which is HLM, you'll notice by 35 quota wave 3, if you didn't notice before. The spawn changes every 8 seconds. And Sadface is like our team's time caller. She knows the times very well, so she'll say the times that they change instead of all of us having to know it by heart. I think it's very useful to only have to have one person's brain power spent on that, and then everyone else can just listen. Of course, we have like some kind of intuition for what amount of time is approximately 8 seconds. It's unfortunate there, our G Blaster died. So I play a little bit more conservatively. So with Crab is also a very good filter. I do avoid trying to kill the goldies. One of the nice things about Clash and G Blaster is that they are very good at killing Chum while not killing the goldies. That's one of the issues with G Slosher. You have to be very careful with not killing the goldies. Again, I'm looking at the left, but it's not left. Pretty unfortunate, our G Blaster got targeted a lot this wave. I used this crab at the end because I wanted to make sure the last Goldie died. We did miss that egg by basket. One. You see it right here. So this is each Goldie drops 3, so divisible by 3 is 84. So we missed this one egg. We did have 87 appearances, so this Goldie I killed here. I don't believe that we could have gotten the eggs if I didn't kill it too early. So in order to get this Goldie to spawn earlier, we had to have been better at filtering Chum earlier in the wave. So it was a little bit late. So maybe we could have got 87, which is generally considered the quote-unquote perfect score that you can get in a rush wave. 90 is possible, but you have to be like perfect. Basically perfect. So 87 is generally the best possible score you can get in a real game. We could have had it here, but 83, still pretty good. All right. Next. So here we have a high tide ship game. Probably one of the best waves you can get on Wahoo. And we do have Crab, which is not necessary, but it very much helps you get a higher score.
Oh, I missed one.
So the strategy, the strategy for this wave is to pretty much hit all the crates, because you can pretty much get all of them. In fact, that's often a strategy on the high tide ships on any map. But especially on this one, there's very few spots that coolers can even land. So
Yeah, I'm Crab.
it's pretty easy to have each person cover one quadrant, no matter what weapons they are. Generally, I would say that the shorter range weapons should cover the sides where I am. And the longer range weapons should cover the flat area. So Mothership is a lot about camera movement. You need to be able to look in the correct direction. And you'll notice that I'm not trying to hit any of the crates that my teammates are supposed to be taking care of. But I do want to help out the crab when it is going, because, you know, they can't get the crates on their side. So that's the one time where the split changes a little bit and you don't necessarily get only the eggs from your quadrant. So 104 is a pretty good score. You can get a couple more eggs than this. I say this in VC, but basically the strategy is you want to have Crab get all the crates that are coming out, but you don't want it to damage the ship too early. If I just go back to where the Crab is used, you generally use Crab at this time. Oh, this too. So Crab is being used here. The strategy is, so how Crab works is it's ZR firing. It goes up with the longer you hold down ZR. So what we actually want to do is, because you don't need to be holding down ZR the whole time in order to get every crate that spawns out, what you can do is you can let go of ZR, reset the firing rate to a slower rate, and then get more crates. So you want this whole duration of the crab, which is like 9 seconds, I believe, to be getting crates from the mothership. And it's a little bit different than with normal maps because the mothership spawns in a little, it gets to the basket just a little bit closer. Sorry, not a little bit closer, a little bit faster, which means that it's already there earlier than it is in other maps. And this is important because, so you'll notice that it attaches at around 15. It's actually not that different, but it's enough to make a little bit of a difference on this tide, this wave, because the crates are so easy. So the rationale is crates stop spawning from the ship once the ship is repelled for the second time. So you want to spawn as many crates, as many eggs as you can. The issue is you cannot collect eggs while the ship is on here. So you can't just leave it on there forever. But the rate that the crates spawn is faster than the rate that it sucks out eggs. So it's okay to let it suck out eggs, as long as you're hitting all the eggs with crab, usually with crab. I mean, I guess almost always with crab. So the rationale is let go of ZR with crab, and then you can repel it a little bit later. So we do repel it a little bit quick. We probably want to be repelling it around 8 seconds maybe. Notice the crab is still going. Soul is still in ball form for just a little bit after it's being repelled, or after it has been repelled. And the result is, at the very end of the wave, we finish collecting eggs around 3 seconds left. So ideally, you don't need you don't need the 3 seconds of downtime. If we had repelled it at like 9 seconds, then maybe we'd have like 2 extra eggs, 2 or 3 extra eggs, so 107, and that would give us just enough time to collect all of them. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to improve this wave. 104 is pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So this is another day game. This one, instead of being normal tide day only, low tide day only. Not as high of a score, but I thought it would be nice to go over low tide as well. I don't think I have any high tide games that I wanted to highlight, but oh well. So this car, if you didn't know, can drop down here. These are some knowledge really only matters for this map. And maybe it doesn't really matter anymore. We're not going to get this map again. But some of it does apply. Some of it is general knowledge that you can apply to general overfishing. So if you didn't know, this flyfish is one bombable. My teammate gets it there.
Yeah, I was facing the right way.
You do have to face it the right way, like Prim says. Face it right in line with the ledge. We do get some pretty unfortunate spawns here at the end. Several flyfish. And we strike to deal with it.
There's 3 eggs like far behind the basket.
Make a little bit of a misplay going for those far eggs. Maybe I should have gone to the left. This was a little bit unfortunate. A fish stick painted my feet. You can make this throw from here into the basket. So that's another bit of map specific knowledge. Not the easiest throw. You have to jump throw it. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to go over the comp. Here, let's do that. Okay, this comp is pretty standard. Damper, very strong weapon, basically makes any comp work. You have ballpoint, probably is the tick killer. All these weapons are pretty strong, just like overall, they're flexible. Even goo, like it's not the greatest weapon, but yeah, this is pretty good comp. No real weaknesses. So this comp, we have 96 Aerospray, Gbrella Luna. It's also a pretty good comp. Yeah, you have Luna for the AoE. Trying to think of if there's any weaknesses I could think of. There's not really many. 96 can get the steel heads. You can kind of have there's not really a dedicated big shot weapon, but on this map, unless you get the middle big shot, which is kind of like a wave killer, it's really bad. As long as you get the right or the left big shots, you can kind of have someone supporting from the ground, and that would be the 96. You have either Luna or Aerospray, or I guess any of them to go up and collect the eggs.
First arrow spray.
So I say all these analyses. I don't actually make them spend that much time on them usually in the game, but this is more an explanation of the kind of intuition that I have looking at a comp.
Confusing. They spawn at like the same point.
Usually it's very simple, just like,
Two different directions.
oh, is this comp weak to steelheads? Oh, does this comp have low DPS? Something like that. Tells me what we need to focus on.
Are you kidding me?
I took a risk there. Probably not a good one to take.
Oh, you killed the stinger.
Yeah, I don't think it was a good one to take. Unfortunately, my teammates waste 2 bombs trying to revive me that don't work. So that was a big, big time loss. Example of why deaths are so important. And also why revives are so important. So I deliberately don't kill the flopper there. I want
Come right.
all of these bosses to come in and give us easier eggs. Yeah, my death there was pretty bad. So let's see. Let's go back and look at what should I have done instead. So I see the stinger here, and I want to kill the stinger. So okay, I make this play, try to kill it. Maybe I could have gone up this way. Maybe I could have killed some pots of it and then left and bombed the rest of them. Maybe I could have bombed at the feet. I don't know about that. If you didn't know, Aerospray does, I believe, exactly 24 damage per shot. So the bomb dealing 30 indirect damage would not actually help Aerospray. Yeah, it does help Aerospray a little bit. It doesn't help as much as it does other weapons. Because each stinger pot is 60 HP. Maybe it would have helped. So that would have been an option. I should have gone up this wall at this point.
Are you kidding me?
Or painted it beforehand. Okay.
Oh, you killed the stinger.
So this wave is the reason I kind of wanted to
What am I picking?
look at this shift. Well, one of the reasons. I get to analyze some waves that didn't go well. Maybe that's something that Doesn't happen as often.
I guess there's not many sticks that are on the ground. Oh, well, this one is. Use Lord.
Oh yeah. So the comp. Sword, very strong weapon. That handles big shot by itself. These are all pretty strong weapons. You could argue maybe there's a little bit of a weakness to steelheads if you have the sword at the big shot. Mint is not amazing at it. It's pretty good. I guess it's not that bad. So yeah, mint, very strong weapon. Not really much else to say. So I could have killed this Drizzler,
Toss that based in
but it would have stalled the Steelhead. We can deal with the Drizzler. We can handle the rain. So it's totally fine for it to
dead deal.
cycle. Unfortunately,
One in big shot.
that was a bit of a misplay. So lots of big shots this wave. Fortunately, I have just the weapon to deal with it.
2 stingers left. Oh, more big shots.
But notice that I'm collecting eggs while attacking. It's something that maybe is not intuitive. You have to press A while holding ZR. But it is important to saves a lot of time. So here I think so my logic for not worrying about the steelhead, sometimes maybe you see the steelhead and you back up so that steelhead comes closer to the cannon, and then the 3 eggs are right at the cannon so that you can collect them. In this case, I decide not to do that because if we look at the timer is pretty low, and it's probably going to take too much time that I otherwise could have spent collecting eggs at the big shot for me waiting for the steelhead, and instead I just collect the eggs. I want to collect these eggs and just leave. After all, these are not Rand big run
Couple more.
cannons. They don't go straight in the basket. We both make that throw, which is pretty cool. It's unfortunate that this stick wasn't painted, or else I would have gone for it. Unfortunately, with G-Sword, it takes too much time to slash and then climb up it. Maybe that would have given us... So in the end, I ended up getting 1 egg throw in. Maybe I could have gotten all 3 of these eggs that are on top of the stick. Oh yeah, that is one weakness with this comp. No stick killer. Yeah, that is a weakness. I don't know how they killed it. Anyway, pretty cool. We got 88 on low tide. Generally considered to be the worst wave, score-wise, for Wahoo.
Hey, what the heck?
And that was our highest low tide score. I'm gonna skip King.
Nice.
We got 222 in the end. Alright. So this is the king I wanted to highlight. It's a bit of a bonus. It's not really overfishing, but so this is the king I wanted to highlight. It's a bit of a bonus. It's not really overfishing, but
thought it was just one.
it does use some overfishing elements. I do find it very fun to try to kill the Triumvirate as quickly as possible.
This sheet doesn't have the roll DPS.
So here we get 2 chargers, 2 swords. Charger is one of the best weapons you can get. This is because it can pierce, and pretty much you can hit, if you angle it right, you can hit 4 things at once related to the bosses. So you can hit Poho, you can hit Joe, the body, you can hit Joe, the pimple, and then you can hit horror. I'm pretty sure you can only hit 1 hitbox of horror. Not entirely sure on that, but maybe it's actually better for you not to hit horror because you want horror to survive to be able to bite Joe more. Depends. I think on Wahoo Normal Tide that is the case. But yeah, Charger is very strong. Sword is just kind of generally okay. Its charge DPS is pretty decent. It's not bow, but it's pretty decent. So you'll notice I'm trying to aim towards the pimple. And maybe it's not very easy to do that. Maybe I'm missing sometimes. But you want to aim towards the pimple, and you want to pierce it through the body. In this case, I'm targeted, so I can't angle it in such a way that it'll do that.
Avoided it.
Someone get these lasers off of me.
And we just melt. That HP just goes down. Pretty cool. So that's less than 50 seconds kill the Triumvirate. One of the faster times. And that's without a bow, too. So it's hard to really figure out the G-Charger DPS compared to the bow because ink matters so much. But with the piercing, Charger is like, I don't know the math, but it's really good. Like, maybe it's better than bow. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Probably not. Especially at the end when there's only one boss left. In this case, we managed to time it pretty well. That again. And the timing wasn't that great. Koho was killed much earlier. But yeah, bow is better for when you only have one boss left, but Charger can do a lot early on. And that does matter. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed my analysis of some Wahoo games. I'm gonna be doing this for the normal maps too. Got some games that I plan on going over.
That was actually a pretty fast kill.
So let me know what you think. Subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, thanks for watching.